Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Getting Started Licensed orientation. This webinar is going to outline the steps to getting started with our team as a licensed producer. Let's get started. During this webinar, we're going to cover the SFG contracting paperwork and how we go about getting our back office set up. We're going to plug into the conference calls and learn about our national conference coming up, as well as a little bit of recruiting and how to start building your team. You will also be responsible once your contracting is complete to do the fast track training as well as the 10 steps to success. Now that we have all of the little parts, we're going to learn how to put those pieces together into the bigger puzzle. The SWAT team and who we are. Symmetry Financial Group is a very large company, and it's growing larger and larger every day. There are many, many successful people within Symmetry Financial Group who decided to come together and create what we call the SWAT team, which stands for the Strategic Wealth Accumulation Tactics. So they all came together and they had these great amount of successes, and they pulled them together and created a training system or a platform for all of us to learn from. Because they decided to band together, then we actually have resources available to us that wouldn't otherwise be available. That's where the SWAT team excels. We are able to, as part of the SWAT team, utilize all of this technology and this training and their superior mentorship to be able to be as successful as possible. There are lots of things that are available for our team specifically, different types of bonus programs, different trips, and things like that, that our mentors and our leaders have all combined together to create for us to make us more successful in a company that's already successful. You are now a member of the SWAT team. The websites and resources that are now available to you. First of all is the agenttraining.info, and I'm going to go here in just a second into great detail about that particular site. This is the site where it's the culmination of all of those great resources have been put together for you. The site is incredible, and you're going to want to know it very, very well. The next site that you're going to be introduced to is the sfglife.com site. This is our corporate website, and after you get contracted, it's going to actually unlock other portions of the website, which takes you into the back office. Once that contract is complete, you will be issued what's called an opt login, and that is your back office login information to be able to get to all of your business. The two girls that you see here on the slide is your administrative support. You have Jennifer Diekman, which is our executive assistant, and she takes care of contracting, pending business. She does a lot with special events, can answer general questions, and takes care of all of our financial reporting. Next to her is myself. I take care of recruiting and licensing as well as the onboarding process, the information technology, some of the executive calendars, and some of the training and support. If at any time during this process you have questions, get in touch with the person who brought you on board. If you're not able to get in touch with them, get in touch with myself or with Jen, and we're more than happy to help you in any way that we can. The agenttraining.info website. As I stated, this is the culmination of all of those really great resources put together. You're going to want to go to agenttraining.info. When it comes up on the homepage, you're going to click on the right-hand side. There's a tab that says Getting Started. You're going to scroll about halfway down to the pre-contracting steps and registration, and then click on that. At that point, that's what's going to open up the menus for you to be able to fill out the contracting paperwork, which we're going to go over. This is also only going to give you minimal information until you have actually been contracted. Once you've been contracted, there will be an entire another set of menus that opens up to you, which will involve the links and audios and things to the 10 steps to success, as well as our events. This is our automated system. So once you create a username and a password on here, you are entered into our automated system, and we are able to communicate with you efficiently. The agenttraining.info site, like I said, when you click there, you're going to have access to the Symmetry Financial Group's online application. It's also going to explain the anti-money laundering and how to go about getting that certificate, as well as that is also the entry point to register for our automated system. You'll see over there on the right-hand side, that is an example of the completion certificate that you will be awarded once you've completed the anti-money laundering quiz. You must save this to your computer as a PDF in order for us to upload it to the agent training website and to unlock that information that's available to you with those new menus. The online application itself has several things that are very important for you to understand. You're going to need a digital copy of your state life insurance license. Now, some of the states issue a receipt. This is not an actual license. A state-issued life insurance license is going to have your state seal on it. And you'll see there on the right-hand side, there's an example of what that would look like. You're also going to need access to a printer scanner, as you'll need to print several items and sign them and do different things with them and then be able to scan them back in. Your authorization page is going to ask you for a wet signature. What that means is that you will be printing that off and you will actually use a black ink pen. It's important that you not use any colors, but a black ink pen to sign the information and then send it back in. So that's what that means when they ask for a wet signature. Now, the signed bank authorization page is going to include a copy of a voided check, which I'm going to go over here in just a second. Your errors and omissions certificate is an insurance that you will not need for all of the carriers, and your upline manager will be able to talk to you more in depth about that and what carriers actually require you to have E&O certificate. You'll notice on the very first page, it's going to ask you during the contracting for certain items to be attached. It's important that you attach that specific file, that specific information to that section. You cannot upload all of your documents together. You must upload them separately. What happens is we keep all of this information on the back side, and then as you get appointed with the carriers, we send them that information. So when you put your, say, for instance, your anti-money laundering certificate in the correct place, when we electronically deal with someone who needs that information, we're able to send it to them very easily. The new producer form on the contract, the very first line, the recruited agent name, is going to be your name. It's going to be auto-filled with our starting contract level, which is 60%. Now, your direct upline name, that's the person who introduced you to Symmetry. And then there's going to be a drop-down menu for your agency manager. If for some reason you don't see your agency manager on there, get in touch with the person who brought you on board, and they'll be able to tell you what to select there. The one thing that most people get incorrect is the voided check information. We used to be able to take what's called a direct deposit authorization form, which was submitted by your bank. However, we are no longer able to take that. You must have a voided check. Now, I'm sure some of you are saying, but I don't use checks anymore. Most all banks and credit unions, if you go to them and ask them for checks on your account, they're more than happy to print them on the spot. And most all of them will also make sure that they fit within these guidelines. Your check that you are going to turn in with your contracting must be very, very, very specific on what it has. The check number must be greater than 100. You must have your name and address pre-printed on the check. You cannot just print it in yourself. It must be pre-printed on the check. The bank name and address must be pre-printed as well. Now, I know that some banks don't have an actual brick and mortar facility to have an address. So if you happen to have an online bank, this would be the online address as well. You must also have the account number and your routing number pre-printed on the check and clearly write void. It is a good best practice to go ahead and open up a bank account separate for your business information, and it's really good if you can attach a credit card to it as well. When it comes tax time, you don't really want to muddy the information that you're going to be using for your federal taxes by having it go through your personal account. So one of the best things you can do is to open a bank account that is specifically just for your business. The legal questions are broken down into major sections and subsections. When you are filling out this information, if you answer yes to one of the major sections, you will also answer yes to one of the subsections and vice versa. If for some reason on the first question you answer no, but then you go down the subsections and suddenly realize that you need to answer yes, you must go back up to the first section, to the major heading, and mark yes as well. If for some reason you mark yes on this, there is a background explanation page that is available to you. You must list on that page what number you are referring to. So you would put, for example, 1G, and then you would list the reason, be as specific as you possibly can. And then you're going to make sure that you date it. And as I said, give as much information as you possibly can. If for some reason it's a legal issue that needs more information, we will get in touch with you for that, because in some cases we do need court documentation of the charges and the resolution that was found from it. If you mark yes on anything on this explanation page, you must have the background explanation explained in as much detail as you possibly can. If ever in question, let us know, and we're happy to talk to you about your specifics. The employment history and the address history must go back 7 years. This means that it starts from today, from the date in which you are actually filling out the contract, and it goes back for 7 years. This cannot be 6.5 years or 6.75 years. It must be at least 7 to 7+ years that you're showing. We need to give our carriers a picture of what your history has been for those 7 years. If for some reason during that time you were laid off or were unemployed or just not working, you will put that on the bottom. There's an explanation section. You're going to make sure that you list those dates exactly and what the explanation is for. So you would put on there, say, 2001 to 2003, unemployed due to economic downturn, or whatever your reasonings happen to be, so that the picture is very clear. And make sure that you're checking your dates to be sure that they are one right after the other for more than 7 years. If you do not put 7 years, or you have longer than a 30-day gap, so 30 days between employment there, and you do not list an explanation, they will flag your contract and it will slow things down. Be sure that you check all of your dates and make sure that they go back 7 years. Getting appointed with the carriers. I'm not going to go too far in depth with getting appointed. If you have quite a bit of experience with another agency or another insurance brokerage, they are going to do things a little bit differently than we are. I just want to give you the general knowledge. Your upline person is going to be able to explain to you in depth exactly how to go about getting appointed. I just want you to understand that you do not have to get appointed on your own. When you fill out this contracting paperwork, what's going to happen is the corporate office is going to appoint you with some of our major carriers, just a couple, and you will get emails for those carriers, and you will have to click on the links for those emails, so you'll know exactly who those carriers are. All the rest of those 36 carriers, we can't really introduce you or get you appointed with them, or else all we would be doing is appointing people with carriers. That's where your upline is going to be able to explain to you how to write a policy and then how to submit that policy in such a way so that we can, in fact, introduce you to the company prior to you submitting. Again, get with the person who brought you on board, and they will be able to explain that further to you. The main thing that I would like you to understand, whether you're new or you've been in the insurance industry for a while, is that you do not need to contact any of these carriers directly. That's what our corporate office does, is kind of be the person between you. Getting plugged in with conference calls and with our team is an extremely important part of coming on board with our team. The conference calls are done 3 times a week. We start out on Monday morning with a national sales call, and then we have a midweek call at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. We also finish out our week on Sunday evening with our SWAT team call. And now that's going to be our local information, and you're going to be able to get a lot of good things that are going on within our team specifically. Be sure to have good phone etiquette when you're getting on these conference calls. Make sure that you're announcing yourself, your first and your last name very clearly, as well as the city and state where you're from. At that time, you want to go ahead and mute your phone. You want to be very careful not to be that person who forgets to mute their phone and is ordering at the drive-thru in front of hundreds of people. Make sure that you have good phone etiquette and you get in the habit of muting yourself. When you make your schedule for the week, your business schedule for the week, the conference calls are the very first thing that should go on that schedule. The next way to plug into our team is through the GroupMe application. You're going to go to your Play Store on your cell phone and you're going to look up the GroupMe. Go ahead and download that and then contact the person who brought you on board to add you to the string. This is where we show in real time all of our agents, all of our teams together, show kind of our week and what's been going on. This is for numbers only. If you would like to have a conversation with someone, you're going to want to do that on an individual string. Because there are hundreds of people on this string, we want to stick to a very clear format. We want to make sure that we put the number of appointments, the number of sits, the number of applications, and then our annual premium volume. This is a really great tool for everyone because when you're just new and learning how to do things, it's nice to see that there's other people who are brand new and learning things, as well as it's really nice to see the continued successes of others. I will tell you that this goes by your standard notifications on your cell phone. So unless you want it to bing and ping hundreds of times as people are posting, if you look in the upper right-hand corner of the text string, you'll see a series of 3 dots. If you click on that, there's a mute section, and this will keep it from dinging at you, but it will still give you the information. If you're a little bit more technology savvy, you can go into the main settings of the application and you can master mute it from there. Our national conferences happen twice a year, and I can get extremely excited about our national conferences. This is 2 times a year when you absolutely positively have to be there. We are doing this in Raleigh, North Carolina, the last weekend in January. You want to go ahead and reserve your room because we do have a bank of discounted rooms available at the Marriott, which is connected to the conference center where all of our meetings and everything are. But that bank will sell out very, very quickly. On the sfglife.com site is where you can go about finding the link to reserve your room. You also want to go ahead and get your discounted tickets. Each and every one of the managers have a specific number of discounted tickets for this event. They will sell out, and they are on a first-come, first-served basis. It is awesome and incredible to be here at the national conference where you get to spend several days just in the synergy of 12, 13, 14, 1,500 people who are extremely successful within our company and who have just a lot to offer, and we're able to take that in. Definitely make your travel plans and get to the national conference. The ability to share your success. It's important from the very beginning to go ahead and start building your team. Now, your upline manager is going to be able to speak with you specifically on your situation and your circumstances and how to go about best helping you to build your team. There's a lot of electricity that happens in the very, very beginning that we want to be sure that we bottle that up and be able to keep it going for a very long period of time. One of the things that you'll hear at the national conference over and over from our top people, from the top of our company, is the sense of regret that they didn't start building right away. What happens is in the beginning, we want to understand everything and we kind of want to get our feet wet and we want to kind of wait to get things started before we actually go out there and start building. But then that's where the regret comes in and they say, oh gosh, once I started building, I realized I should have started this from the very beginning. So that's where we want to kind of bring it to light for you and to help you to understand you don't want to be one of those people who regrets not bottling that energy and not building your team from the very beginning. So go ahead and get started with that by talking to the person who brought you on board about your specific circumstances and how you can best go about building your team. We have a lot of technology and we have a lot of resources on our specific team that other teams don't have available to them to best help you with this building. We are not able to do this for you. However, we are able to give you these tools and to help you to utilize these tools to be the most successful that you can possibly be. We've gone all the way through the licensing process as far as how to get our contracting paperwork done and how to get the back office started, and that's all available to you on the agenttraining.info website. Honestly and truthfully, this website is going to be your key to finding anything and everything you could possibly ever even imagine. Once you are actually signed up and registered, you're going to be able to get to that fast track training, which is the very next step that you're going to want to take care of. You can see an example of what that looks like there on the right. Once you've completed that and uploaded your 6 certificates to the agent training website, it's going to unlock the 10 steps. Now, this is all going to be prompted to you automatically. As you go through the process, we try to keep up with you and be able to prompt you to make it to the next one. Go ahead and share your success right away. Go ahead and start building that team. Get plugged in with Symmetry through the conference calls and getting on the national conference. Once we get your application, it does take us a little bit to be able to review that. Jen will usually contact you within 24 to 48 hours of receiving that information that you submit online. She will check it over and send that up to our corporate office. Now, I know that we are expanding and building at astronomical rates. So it is taking a little bit longer than usual to get everything put into the computer system. So if you would, please be patient with us. The corporate office is taking about 48 hours or so, sometimes a little bit longer, to get that information in. If you have any questions whatsoever, everyone here on the team, on the SWAT team, is more than happy to help you in any way that we possibly can. My name is Beverly Frazier, and I hope that you have gotten plenty of great, useful, and wonderful information from this, and I look forward to seeing you on our team.